on West Dakota Fox News at 9. A 13-year-old boy is lucky to be alive after a freak accident. Plus, a multi-state manhunt ends in extradition. Tonight, we'll show you the charges. But first, the starter pistol has sounded in the race for Secretary of State.
This is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. More candidates are lining up at the starting block in the race for Secretary of State. Today, Democrat Josh Boschee announcing his candidacy, but he'll have to battle it out with a few other hopefuls. Bo Evans has the story.
The race for Secretary of State is heating up in North Dakota. Monday, Democrat Josh Boschee announced he will enter the race.
But I think North Dakotans are looking for change. Nothing could be more evident than the last election that they're looking for someone who's going to bring a fresh experience to the office, regardless of political party.
Coincidentally, incumbent Al Jaeger made his re-election campaign official Monday morning.
The office is going to be going through a tremendous transition, and I think it's important for me to carry that continuity through another term, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Both candidates made their case why they should hold the office.
I would take that engagement, that ability to bring people together to this office, to get beyond the Capitol, to visit every corner of the state, not only during this campaign, but once elected, to continue to engage North Dakotans. And how can we make sure that we have the best Secretary of State's office in the country?
A lot of what we do is not headline grabbing, but as the name might imply, Secretary of State, there are a lot of things that we do that are important for the state of North Dakota.
Before Jaeger can run against Boschee, he will first have to defeat Republican challenger Will Gardner.
The statewide primary will be held Tuesday, June 12th. Time now is 9:02. Let's throw it over. We're in for a special treat. We have meteorologist Kevin Lawrence.
Don't worry, Henry returns tomorrow night, so just bear with me here one more night. A blustery day for tomorrow, but temperatures for some maybe near 50 degrees above zero, and then it gets a lot colder thereafter.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right.
The only publicly funded addiction treatment center for teens in North Dakota is closing its doors. Youth Residential Services in Bismarck say they've only had 5 admissions in the last 6 months. Last year, in the same time frame, they were at 23.
We want to take a look at, what are other options for our resources that we do have, and how best can we serve the youth that have behavioral health issues in the state of North Dakota.
There's a possibility that a new facility could open in Fargo if there's sufficient demand. We're learning last night several Mandan Youth Correctional Center employees were attacked by juvenile inmates. The North Dakota Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation says 5 employees were assaulted. Those officers were treated for their injuries. The incident is now under investigation. In 2016, there were nearly 4,000 child abuse cases reported in the state. And of the 6,000 domestic violence cases, half of those directly impacted children. Now, the Mandan School District is rolling out a new program to ensure kids feel safe both at school and at home. Reporter Cynthia McLaughlin shows us.
When these occurrences happen, we can do something about it.
Domestic violence, child abuse, and neglect. All issues that can get in the way of schoolwork. Mandan Public Schools are using a new program to fix this issue. It's simple and free.
Handle Ryan Vincent with care. That's all they know.
We don't tell what happened or how it happened. We just let them know that this child needs a little bit extra attention.
If there is a domestic violence call or anything of that nature, the patrol officer on duty sends a special Handle with Care email that reaches the superintendent and 3 other administrators. Then the district office does a search to find the student, and a notice is forwarded to the school building.
It was a no-brainer when the police department to prevent child abuse came to us and rolled out this program. It was just a win-win for everybody.
A simple heads up from law enforcement, opening up communication in the school system.
It is definitely a community effort. It's organizations working together to make sure that the mental health of a child is taken care of.
The program was just started last fall. Since then, it has been utilized 20 times, and not just in elementary schools. The high school makes up 25% of the program's usage. For West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Cynthia McLaughlin.
A story we're following tonight, Ulysses Villalobos is back in North Dakota after waiving extradition from South Dakota. He appeared in Burleigh County Court this morning. Villalobos is charged with attempted murder and fleeing a police officer. It stems from an officer-involved shooting January 18th. That incident sparked a multi-state manhunt.
I'm asking for a $500,000 cash bond and the condition that if the defendant can post bond that he's not allowed to leave the Bismarck area.
Villalobos is being held at the Burleigh-Morton County Detention Center. He faces a maximum of 25 years. A Newtown woman is under arrest following an incident this weekend in Mandan. Police say 36-year-old Kinda Johnson was a suspect in an assault that happened on a party bus Saturday. When police tried to question her, they say she began kicking, then bit the hand of the officer trying to cuff her. She faces several charges. In Dapple news, a U.S. District Judge Daniel Hovland has scheduled 38-year-old Red Fawn Fallis' sentencing for May 31st in Bismarck. A gun was discharged as police tried to arrest Fallis in October 2016. She later pleaded guilty to civil disorder and gun possession by a convicted felon. Speaking of court, Judge Bruce Haskell announced earlier this month that he will not seek re-election to the bench in the South Central Judicial District. Haskell has several successful re-election campaigns since his first run in 1995, but now he says he wants to do other things while he's still healthy.
There's a possibility down the road. I've given a little thought to state legislature possibly, but that would have to be down the road a ways.
Haskell's last day as judge is December 31st. Well, President Trump is getting ready for his first State of the Union address tomorrow. Aides say it aims to be more optimistic than usual. At the White House press briefing today, Sarah Sanders said the theme of the speech will be building a safe, strong, and proud America. The president says he'll talk about trade, infrastructure, and immigration policy, something the president says we all have to be part of and part of this bipartisan effort.
Well, I hope it's going to be good. We worked on it hard, cover a lot of territory, including our great success, because the Republicans really don't have the votes to get it done in any other way, so it has to be bipartisan, but hopefully the Democrats will join us, or enough of them will join us, so we can really do something great for DACA and for immigration generally.
The immigration plan unveiled by the White House last week would provide a pathway to citizenship for nearly 2 million undocumented immigrants. In exchange, the president is asking for $25 billion to fund the border wall. Well, Senator Heidi Heitkamp announced she'll be bringing retired UPS driver Dennis Corin to the State of the Union as her guest of honor. Corin is a Fargo native and has led an effort to protect the pensions of North Dakota workers and retirees, pensions that are now at risk of being cut.
This issue is horrific. It is terrible what's happening, but then there are a few great people who stepped up to change attitudes and change outcomes, and Dennis is one of them.
Meantime, Senator Hoeven announced he'll be bringing Miss America Kara Mund as his guest tomorrow night. Before winning the crown, Mund interned in the senator's office. Well, the IRS started accepting 2017 returns today. This year's deadline is April 17th. One tax expert advises getting all the forms you need before sitting down with an agent.
Most importantly, right now, you can't use your last pay stubs. You have to have your W-2s, or if you get Social Security, your Social Security statement, pension statements, you need all your tax documents.
For help, you can visit the state tax website. A North Dakotan will be in a new tax bracket this year. For the third time, a $100,000 Powerball prize winner came forward over the weekend. The lucky ticket was sold at Patriot Fuels in Alexander. The winning numbers were 17, 21, 26, 47, 54, and the Powerball was 7. The Power Play multiplayer was 2. The swelling Seine River in Paris continues to overflow its banks, this after weeks of heavy rains. The flooding has stopped all river tourism and forced road closures. Famous landmarks like the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre have also been threatened. The water isn't expected to recede for another couple weeks. Well, more than 100 skiers had to be rescued at an Austrian ski resort today. Helicopters were called after a chairlift broke down. This is in Styria, Austria. The stranded skiers were suspended 30 feet in the air for several hours. They eventually got everyone down. 5 soldiers are dead after a suicide bombing at an Afghanistan military academy today. Witnesses say the attackers used hand grenades, detonating them around the area of Marshal Fahim Academy in Kabul. Authorities say 2 insurgents were killed, 2 blew themselves up, and 1 is now in police custody. Back stateside, Andrew McCabe, the deputy director of the FBI, has resigned. McCabe is reportedly taking what's being referred to as a, quote, terminal leave. That means he will remain in the position until he retires mid-March. McCabe has been caught in the middle of an ongoing tension between the White House and the FBI. Well, next week, SpaceX is set to launch their most powerful rocket yet. The Falcon Heavy will lift off February 6th. SpaceX says the rocket is capable of sending humans to Mars, but the company plans to build a different system to travel to the red planet. In Illinois, a shocking kidnapping caught on camera. This video was taken back on December 20th. The suspect, Brian Protho, can be seen on surveillance video standing around his car in Calumet City. A girl walks by and he grabs her, forcing her into the red SUV. The victim was able to escape and Protho was arrested. A 13-year-old boy is lucky to be alive tonight after getting a 6-inch screw lodged in his skull. His parents say he was helping build a tree house in Salisbury, Maryland, when he fell and landed on a board with a screw sticking out. The screw pierced his skull and part of his brain. Luckily, doctors were able to safely extract it. And terrifying moments on Long Island this morning after a small plane barrel rolls onto the beach. It happened just after 10 a.m. at Robert Moses State Park in Babylon. Officials say a flight instructor and 2 teenage students were on the plane. All of them survived. Another emergency landing to tell you about, this time in Southern California. This was on the freeway last night in Costa Mesa. According to the pilot, the plane was having engine trouble, which forced the unusual landing. No one was injured. Also in California, residents in Malibu are breathing a sigh of relief tonight after crews successfully knocked down a fast-moving brush fire. The flames broke out around 3 a.m. and quickly torched 6 acres. Thanks to the quick response, that was the extent of the damage. And 2 of the world's largest ATM makers are warning of a new threat to cash machines in the U.S. They say hackers are, quote, jackpotting machines, forcing them to spit out cash. The attacks were reported over the weekend. The amount of money stolen is unknown. In sports news, the Cleveland Indians announcing today they're ditching Chief Wahoo as their mascot. Major League Baseball said in a statement that the caricature was, quote, no longer appropriate to use on the field. Uniform changes are coming in 2019. And be sure to take a look at the sky Wednesday night. We'll be experiencing a super blood moon. The cosmic event happens in the early dawn hours when the moon is closest to the Earth. It's a pretty rare occurrence, and it's sure to be a spectacular sight. Kevin, have you ever heard of one of those?
Well, yeah, certainly, but this is a little bit different. Yeah, we've had super moons lately. Okay, super moon, super blood blue moon.
Welcome back. There's a new type of competition taking Italy by storm. It's called vertical up racing. Competitors trek up the famous downhill ski course in Val Gardenia, Italy. It's just short of 8,000 feet. The course has a change in altitude of nearly 2,000 feet and an incline at 60 degrees in some parts. The winner was able to scale the mountain in 23 minutes. Speaking of a drastic degree change, we've got some of that in this week's forecast.
Yeah, how about this for tomorrow, right? It doesn't seem like January tomorrow with mid to upper 40s for highs. It's just going to be windy, though. West winds 20 to 40, maybe gusting to 50. And look at this, Molly. Again, we go from the mild on the left to the deep cold on the right. So we've got highs around 8 on Saturday. Friday and Saturday, a chance for some snow. Might give us a couple of inches. I don't see a big winter storm. Can't really narrow specifics this far out, but as we transition to yet a colder air mass, a little bit of snow.
Okay, one day of reprieve.
Yeah, a little bit.
We'll take it. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Right.
We'll see you tomorrow.